Good afternoon, everybody. Steve Walls, 100.1 FM, The W Show. Darren Smith, The Ship, A10 WHB. Another day, a Saturday. 2,000 fans inside of Arrowhead Stadium with the guys today. Darren, your thoughts about today and how you think things went?
One, I'm jealous because we weren't one of those 2,000 or the lucky me that got a chance to go and cover. Look, again, we talked about it in depth on yesterday. I think it was a good thing. The players whom we got a chance to talk to, they enjoyed seeing the fans out there. Obviously, there was no interaction between them because of because of where we are now. But the fact that how everything went down, they were glad to see fans out there. A lot of them said that even with being about 2,000 fans out there, you could still hear the noise they were making. So I think I think maybe been Harrison Buck or someone that said that they look forward to even having 17,000 fans in there because they feel like they'll still be able to make a whole lot of noise. So all in all, I would imagine if you're a player that you enjoyed it very much.
Now, got a chance to talk to Eric Bieniemy, Austin Ryder, Harrison Bucker as well. When you think about what Eric Bieniemy had to say, I think he was asked, about having the fans out there, and it was good. He said that it was good to have the fans out there, and it's sort of that dry run. The guys felt it, is what he said. Your thoughts about Eric Bieniemy today?
Eric Bieniemy has perfected the art of coach speak. He says a lot without saying a whole lot, without trying to give a whole lot away. But as it relates to the fans, obviously, being a former player himself, being able to feed off the energy of fans in your stadium or practice or something is something that, as a player, you kind of live for, and as a coach, that you kind of draw on that from time to time, the energy of the crowd, because sometimes the crowd influences the calls that you make. We've seen so we've seen lots of times when it's fourth down or 4th and 1 or something, and the coaches that crowd get to roar. Coach like, hell, let's go for it. You know what I'm saying? If it make it cool. If not, hey, saying pretty much the fans be able to live with that. But all that being said, no, look, man, Chiefs fans are one of a kind. Let's put it like that. So you know what you get with them, with the atmosphere, and we'll definitely talk more about this on the show tomorrow. But but again, the fans that we have are one of a kind, and they're a special bunch. Let's just put it like that.
He was also asked about the RB2 position, which seems to me, and we've been talking about this, Clyde Edwards-Helaire will be the number one running back unless something drastic changes.
Injury.
I think so. But that RB2 position is wide open. Will it be Darwin Thompson? Will it be Darian Williams? Who will it be? And he said they just want the best guys who are available.
Again, another coach speak, another saying something without saying anything. It's interesting because that was one of the things happened to hear one of my colleagues' shows on yesterday. That's one thing that I guess kind of frustrates him about Eric Bieniemy. It's like he's gotten the coach speak down where he doesn't give you anything and doesn't. So I don't know what to really take from that except for the fact that he's always said that they coach their players to be starters or to take a starter's position. So obviously right now, Clyde, with the amount of reps that he's getting with the first team and the expectations of the first round draft pick, again, his place is pretty much solidified. Again, I think most of the pressure, and I think you may have asked me this yesterday, I think most of the pressure falls on Darwin Thompson, to be honest, because, granted, because you were a latter round draft pick, it's not like you're costing the Chiefs a whole lot of money by staying, if they retain you. However, but your learning curve, like, some of the things that he said when he spoke with us this week, made me think, like, again, you had opportunities throughout the year last year. Mm-hmm. You didn't really take advantage of it. And now because you didn't, the Chiefs spent their early pick, the first round draft pick, on a running back, because to me they didn't have enough confidence in you, in what your growth pattern was between last year and now. So I think more pressure's on him. I think Darrell Williams could also be a casualty, but I will look more so at the contract situation of the 4 running backs before I could really make my decision on who would get cut.
And you know what? It's the coach's talk, but again, you got to remember he's vying for a head coaching position too. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
he's trying to get everything down so that way it's a seamless transition into from where he is now into where he's going.
Oh, look, now you and I both know because we've been covering the Chiefs for a minute. 2 years ago, so 2 years ago when he first became the OC after Nagy and well, not Matt Nagy. No, it was Doug Peterson first, then Matt Nagy,
Right.
And then so once Eric got that ascension, again, it's one thing when you're the running backs coach and you only have to talk to us 3 times a year, to be in the OC where you're talking to us every week. He has gotten so much better, behind the microphone, has gotten so much more comfortable. And I think, I really think that the fact that he went through the interview process 2 years ago, trying to get a head coaching gig, and that, we thought, okay, and it was good. Look, I'm glad that he didn't get it because he got a chance to get a Super Bowl ring.
Right.
Now, now that, he's had another opportunity with the coaching thing, it didn't fall through. Well, now that you got a Super Bowl title behind you, you know that you really are pretty much the next man up. So now it's your opportunity to perfect that craft, so to speak, which I'm pretty sure. Look, I've thought about asking, but I really don't want to put him out there like that. But I'm pretty sure he's had conversations either with Andy Reid or with some other coaches about, trying to hone his skills, so to speak, to make sure that he's extremely comfortable. And the one thing that I do like is that, he listens to the question and thinks about it before he answers versus just trying to put something out there. Like Steve Spagnuolo, because he's done it, he's been a head coach and he's done it before, he can just kind of, whatever you toss at him, he can get back at him, except for when you caught him with that grand slam earlier this week. But Eric Bieniemy, because he hasn't been in the head coaching spot just yet, where it's kind of repetition, where he would do every other day like Andy does, then I think he's still in that filling out process, but he's getting much, much better at it.
All right, and we talked to Tyrann Mathieu as well. Of course, he talked about the fans being out there and feeling the energy and it being good to be back out there running out of the tunnel and all those things. But one of the things that he did talk about was Juan Thornhill.
Yeah.
He talked about Juan Thornhill and his ability to come back, and what he thought about it.
Yeah, look, Tyrann's a good dude. I mean, he's one of those people that, again, the organization paid a lot of money for his services when they brought him in as a free agent, and by doing so, again, comes great responsibility for what he's doing. The fact that this is just somebody that he got to play 15 weeks with, and of course training camp with, took underneath his wing. And the fact that Tyrann had 2 ACL tears, so he's torn his, so he's gone through what Juan has gone through. So just via experience alone, being able to talk and being able to mentor someone like that, was to me what you're supposed to do. That's how you give back, and that's one of the things that I think that makes him special and makes him a captain and a team leader.
And another interesting thing that he said is there was a question asked about what's his expectation coming into this year for the defense. And he said that they expect to pick up where they left off, which, last year, everyone knows that the defense started off very slow. There were questions about the cornerback position. Didn't know exactly what to expect from Tyrann. We didn't know what to expect from Frank Clark, and then Frank Clark being injured most of the season. We just didn't know. And so it was just a question mark about this defense. Of course, could they adhere to what Steve Spagnuolo was trying to teach them? And at the tail end of the season, they did just that and had become one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah, when you said, I was like, I think that was my question that I had asked Tyrann about it, because we've talked about it again with the team. Again, you had a new collective unit outside of Travarius and Chris Jones last year. Pretty much new defense, players and stuff, and then you got a new coordinator. They had only played, I believe, 3 snaps in the preseason as a starting unit before injuries took place. And so, again, like you said, Frank, a lot of the players were injured throughout the season, and it wasn't until and I keep saying after Mexico City because that's when I think it happened. But after Mexico City, when they were getting everybody back healthy and stuff, that's when, that's when now you kind of saw the defense where we were hoping that they would be. Again, we always said in 2018, if the Chiefs defense was just average, just in the middle of the pack, that they would have been, that we thought that they would have beaten New England and gone to the Super Bowl. Well, that's where they ended up at. I mean, they were worse, but then they got better as the season went on. And then by the time, we won the Super Bowl, they were pretty much the top ranked defense at that time from the time I think that they lost they lost their last game, and then coming off that loss to a win and going straight through. The Kansas City thing ended up having the top ranked defense through the Super Bowl. So seeing that, my expectation or my question was more so, now that you all have a year under Steve Spagnuolo, what is the expectation? Because it's like you shouldn't, there shouldn't be an excuse for you all to start off slow or fall behind 24-0, something like that, because you all got a year underneath it, and you got all the play calling, all the play callers coming back, the coaches and stuff. So not like the terminology or anything is different. You all know where you're supposed to be, your positions, and so the fact that he says that that he acknowledged that, yes, we had a slow start. Hopefully, it doesn't start off like that again. And if so, that's why I think I said yesterday that the pressure is going to be more so on the defense, making sure that they don't start off slow. The defense don't start off slow. I mean, look, we know because of the lack of hitting and what they're able to do, there's not so much they can do to start the season off. But if they can at least make stops early on and not give up big plays, and then get the offense the ball just via time of possession or turnover of downs, and I really like this defense, because our defense is built to sustain a lead and not really try to shut teams down like a Baltimore Ravens or Chicago Bears. Our team is built for more so when we have a big lead that they can go and blitz and turn into big plays.
Two things. I think the pressure is more so on the offense.
Really?
I do, because you have Patrick Mahomes, who's arguably right now the best quarterback in the National Football League, right?
Yeah.
So you also have Andy Reid, who they said they couldn't won it now, but they're trying to get back. And so this is supposed to be this high-powered offense. You have Tyreek Hill, who's supposed to be the fastest guy in the NFL.
Yeah.
You have Travis Kelce, who's supposed to be the best tight end in the NFL, arguably. So you have all these intangibles that are attached to these guys and attached to this offense. The defense, they're going to be who they're going to be. Of course, if they start off slow, it's like, oh well, okay, they're trying to figure it out. They're not going to have Bashar Breeland for the first 4 games of the season. So you gotta remember, this offense is supposed to be the number one offense. Every media personality says, or not everyone, but most media personalities are saying, hey, Patrick Mahomes has got the torch. He's the poster child right now for the league. And so when you think about how this offense is, Andy Reid is this mastermind of a coach and has so many plethora of plays. You got to think that this offense, it has to come to you that, hey, this offense has that question mark of, all right, will they be great, or will they start off slow like they did? Because you remember the Raiders game when in Oakland, when they were down 10-0, I believe.
Yeah.
And they had to come roaring back, and they went to the final down of in Oakland. So
well, no. The Chiefs were down 10-0, but then they scored 4 touchdowns in the second quarter. Yeah, so they won 20-10. Yeah,
that was the year before, but
that was last year.
Huh?
That was last year.
I'm talking about when it went down to the final, when it went down to the end of
in December. Then.
Yeah, in December.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. See, now you threw a monkey wrench into my thought process, because I can see where you're coming from, because you have really the number one player, number one quarterback, and then you've got the number one tight end, one of the top 3, top 5 wide receivers. I can see where the pressure is on there. I mean,
throw Sammy into that mix, and then you drafted a running back at number 1 who's supposed to come out and ball. So
I would say, well, in that regard, I would say it's more pressure on Andy and Patrick. Andy getting the players the balls and putting them in position. But I, man, damn, Steve, that's kind of hard because again, I could see your argument regarding the offense. But I just think because of the expectations and what we expect from the offense, so to speak, with them being high power, we expect Patrick to get the score 4 to 5, or the offense to score 28 to 35 points. We expect that no matter what. Whether it's a shootout or even if there's a bad game, we still expect that. But the question is, but the question is because we saw when the team was down 24-0 to Houston, how the offense roared back. Now, granted, the defense had some stops along the way, but again, but the thing is, the defense at the time put the pressure on the offense to do what they had to do. My thing is, again, a year under Steve Spagnuolo, the fact that you can now play to your strength, and you know where you need to be, where you need to be on the field, and you know who you need to cover. Again, you should not be, as a defense, especially with defense, you should not be falling behind 14, 14, 20, 21 points behind to start the game off. Now if the offense starts off slow, sluggish, a couple of, the first 2 or 3 possessions, maybe then you'd have some concern options. But as long as the defense isn't giving up big plays, I think again that the offense will have better field position where they can work with, versus the defense, putting the team where they have to go 70, 80 yards, to pay dirt.
And I know we're way off what we're talking about as far as what the coach was saying, but it needs to be said because I mean, when you think about the question mark of the running back position, back to what Eric Bieniemy was saying, or RB2 when he was asked the question of who's going to be the second string, the RB1 is still a question because and my question to Eric Bieniemy was that this team is going to be, or is known as, a high-powered offense. Your offense strong, right? So how are you making this defense better? Is it some to the aspect of, all right, we're in a meeting, Spagnuolo, we're going to call this amount of pass plays to this percentage of run plays to make you guys better. And so if you're doing those run plays, how is Clyde Edwards-Helaire looking? We don't have that eye test because we're not out there out there being able to see exactly how this guy, how good he is or is not. So the question mark is still there of the running back position, and defense is going to be able to just sit back and say, okay, we don't know what Clyde Edwards-Helaire can do, so we're going to make him beat us. So we're going to play. We don't need to stack the box. We're going to play the pass. And if they sit back and play the pass, then you're scratching your head. And we can say, because who are you going to double team, pick your poison and all that. But, if they're playing the pass and they're sitting back there and, all right, we'll make the running back beat us, we're going to have to find out, is he good or not?
Well, that would be more so on the offensive line, because if they're going to fall back like that, I'm gonna put that ball in the breadbasket and let him find a hole and let him do his thing. Because again, the film that you have there's film on Clyde versus what they had on Kareem, because Kareem was at a small college versus this guy who played a national championship game. So you can do that at your own peril if you want to, but they trust Mitchell Schwartz. They trust Eric Fisher when now that he's come back from concussion, to be able to open up some holes for him. I can assure you that if you're going to give Andy Reid the run, make him run the ball, Eric Bieniemy, as a former running back, of course he's going to call run plays, and they'll get that defense out of it, and then by the time they come out they'll hit them with a big play down the field. So I have literally, this is the first year I really have no concern about the Chiefs' offense outside of injury, because they have too many weapons to where it's hard for me to credibly find a way for a team to beat Kansas City this year. I'm not saying 19-0 just yet, but man, I'm telling you, man, that I'm leaning towards the man. I mean, I don't know. We may have to talk about it on the show or something next week or something, man, where we look at the schedule and try to find an L somewhere along the way.
Um, very, very true.
Seriously.
But they'll find the first few games are gonna be rough.
Oh well, yeah, but it's gonna be rough for everybody.
I'm not saying just not competition. I'm just saying getting the kinks out, getting the dust off. Because remember, Patrick said he hasn't taken that first hit yet, and normally he wants to get that first hit out of the way.
Yeah, but even in preseason, Patrick ain't really taking no hits. I mean, because he'll be out there for a series and then he sits down. So, I mean, he's not gonna get his first hit until Houston. So, regardless of what he says, that's not happening until then.
All right. We also talked to Austin Ryder and Harrison Butker.
Well, hold on, and Tyrann Mathieu too. Now we talked.
Oh, and Tyrann Mathieu. I'm sorry. Well, let me skip over Tyrann Mathieu. But Tyrann Mathieu said a lot about Juan Thornhill. Of course, Juan Thornhill had a question to him about Juan. Juan leaning on Tyrann, so to speak, to basically come back from an injury. Of course, Tyrann had the 2 ACL tears, right? And so he already knew what it takes to come back.
Yeah, he's pretty much big brother to Juan, and Juan looks at him that way. And it's funny because you remember we talked to our pickup that we got from Seattle last week, the free agent that we got from Seattle, the defensive back. Tyrann is just considered a big brother and someone who players across the league, look up to, because he's just that guy, And see, Tyrann is not someone that has always been at the king of the hill. I mean, he came in from LSU, with some issues, and then when he got into the league, he had some off-field issues, and then of course, with the injury. So Tyrann has been all over as it relates to, I don't want to say he can relate as an NFL player to a lot of the issues that these younger players are going through or have gone through, and that's one of the things that makes him special.
He's also asked about the guys getting out there and going through what it seemed to me to be like and what Coach Reed said, a dry run. And I mean, they got the energy of the crowd, whether it's in St. Joe or at Arrowhead on Sundays, right? So, and talked about this earlier in the show, but having these fans out there, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing?
Well, I mean, right now it's a good thing. I mean, because you got, I mean, it's something that they haven't had since the Super Bowl. So, I mean, I think it's good for them. It won't have any really adverse effect for them at practice. They don't only be there today and then of course next Saturday. So, and because they're not having really any interaction safety wise, is just fine. But no, I think I think it works well for them. For what they're able to do to actually see some some type of crowd noise and support out there.
And Brian's joining us today again. Appreciate you watching, Brian. As always, he said Ryder was ranked number 2 in pass protection behind Rodney Hudson last year. I don't know. They gave up. Okay, yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So look, as long as that offensive line do their thing, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's going to be okay. I mean, again, see that, but we talk about all the time the fact that Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy and Patrick Tuna said they can stay up and with all these weapons they can just design. Again, I asked a question like, how do you really come up with all these plays? There's only so many things that you may not have seen. Obviously you have to. Yeah, well, like I said, you have to go back to 1948 to pull out a play in the Rose Bowl or something that we haven't seen. So unless you're doing stuff like that, which is hey, that's good because keeps the defense honest. I mean, again, I just really I hate repeating myself, but dude, it's hard for me to just look at this offense and ask the question, what can they not do?
Very true. But you think about it this way: you have all these guys who have so much experience, right? And even talking to Austin Ryder and Harrison Butker, I mean, these guys are coming back with the experience of the offensive line was bad. They put it to you this way: they're battle tested.
Well, on top of that, they got a Super Bowl ring too. I'm saying that, so that adds a layer of confidence as well because you've been to the mountaintop, so you know what it takes to get there. And if you use the energy inside of you that you want to go back and you want to keep this thing going, I mean that's a motivation within itself. Again, the experience and the fact that you know what it takes, the sacrifice that you're willing to do,
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I mean, I've never been a Chiefs fan like that, but dude, but how can you not like what you see?
You think about it too. We talk about liking what we see, but we're not able to see that right now. I mean,
Yeah, I didn't want you to mention that part.
but here's another thing I want you to think about. So they're not only are they battle tested, but they know what it means in to come back from so many games from behind, to play from behind.
That's key. That's key. And that again, that right there is key. Granted, you don't again that's more pressure on the offense, but also the defense. You don't want the defense putting you in that situation that you hope they don't put you in a situation this upcoming year. But you also know if by chance, the defense misses some tackles or some injuries or whatever, and it's like, okay, the offense is relied upon, that there's really no amount that you can't come down from at least 24 points that you can come back and win from, because you've done it before and you've done it at a higher level than a regular season game. So again, one thing that people kind of forget, Patrick as a starting quarterback has never lost a game by more than 7 points as the Chiefs starter. So that's the other thing too. So the Chiefs are always in the ball game. So that's why so that's why I say more pressure is on the defense versus the offense, because again, Patrick has never lost a game by more than 7 points so far. So I mean, so right there, the offense is always in the game regardless. It's just a matter of, is it a dogfight or is it a blowout?
And you got to see. Let's hear what Harrison Butker had to say. What were your thoughts on what he talked about?
Harrison is going. I got a feeling the way he's talked, and I was thinking about it because I used to kick when I was in high school.
Did you?
Yeah. They called me Bigfoot back in the day. Yeah, really they did. But I tell you something, man. I got a feeling he's going to try to go for the NFL record this year. Because he keeps talking about that 72 and 77 yards, and I think I don't know if he mentioned something about a 79-yard kick or something, but I think But one of the things that he said, which makes a lot of sense too, if you look at it, one of the things that he talked about was Brian, that's what they call me. One of the things that if you listen to what he says, that he feel comfortable kicking 55, 58-yard kicks. But the thing is that the further back he kicks and kicks further and further back and does it with ease, by the time you kick a 50-yard field goal, it feels short to him. And so if he's making a 72 or 77-yard kicks and he's making it, I don't want to say just at ease, but consistent, then one, it allows the Chiefs, if they somehow get into a situation, or if it's just at the end of the half where they got to leave, it's no big deal. Okay, we might let him go out there and try it just for the sake of trying it, to see whether or not he can kick the end. And I can't remember if it's 63, 67 or something like that. But again, if he's kicking a 77 or 72-yard field goal, whether it's at practice or just at home or whatever, and he's making it with ease, again, when it comes time to a 50, 55, 58-yarder, it shouldn't be a big issue, which is what he said. So that's what I took from it, because to me, I think he's much more confident. Even though he was real confident last year, he's much more confident this year about being put in any type of situation to kick a field goal and make it.
And even the games that he was put in that situation, he's come through for this team.
Yeah. And that's one thing that we talked about last year in the playoffs, where if it came down to it, it's Harrison Butker. Is that butt going to be tight, for him to, make the field goal? And it was.
As always, we appreciate everybody who joins in every day. We do this, the Gridiron, myself and Darren Smith. If you guys have any questions you'd like us to answer, whether it's about the defense, the offense, what Andy Reid had to say, or anything, let us know, man, because we always like to interact with the people who watch us. As Brian, he talks to us every day that we're on, so we appreciate that. Again, everybody that watching this is the Afternoon Gridiron. Steve Walls of the W Show, Darren Smith of the Ship. Until what time are we on tomorrow, Darren?
We'll be on my show during that time. So depending on when the Chiefs get off, but I'm looking more so about 12:17 tomorrow afternoon.
All right, we appreciate everybody. Like I said, that's joining us. Until tomorrow, we are out of here.